One of the things that you touched on, Gaelan, with agriculture is that government can do the most for agriculture by actually getting off the farm. There's so much that we cannot do today in agriculture because of federal regulations. They just don't understand that it's regulation itself that's making our food more costly and less healthy. So, for example, the organic food market. Organic food in Vermont is maybe 5% of what Vermonters consume. It's the boutique market. Most families, my own included, can't afford the stuff and wished we could, but we're growing it. Most food, as you said, is actually imported to Vermont, and that's a problem. I think we need to get government away from regulating, controlling our farms. The market will decide what a farmer can grow, and what's going to be profitable, what's going to be productive. The government should not. On-farm slaughter, hemp production. And if you're worried about people getting high out in your field, there's varieties of hemp that do not contain THC.
Well, none of the industrial varieties have THC. So it's actually a threat to the pot industry to have industrial hemp, because the pollination will cross-pollinate, and the guys who are growing it for the drug will have a hard time isolating their...
As is medical marijuana a bad thing for the pharmaceutical giants,
right,
because it cuts into their bottom line. But what does industrial hemp cut into? It cuts into the bottom line of fossil fuels. You know, just about everything in this studio has a significant amount of oil. This camera, you know, my suit, and you know, the what was used to varnish the floor about 70 years ago. So, you know, we don't, the saran wrap that's used to package your organic food, that's all oil. Much of that, if oil goes away or becomes prohibitively expensive, where are you going to get your oil? So industrial hemp is it doesn't require that much in the way of pesticides. They haven't been engineered by the likes of Monsanto and Cargill to require lots of pesticides and constant tractoring. It's a relatively low energy input crop.
Well, it's also a good rest crop to do in between food production.
So the fact that we can't do it today it's not because the market doesn't want it.
So this is a great example. I mean, the state of Vermont legalized industrial hemp, and the law reads something to the effect of, if the federal government ever decides it's okay for us to do this, then we've already pre-authorized it and think it should be okay. You know, it's like, what are you waiting for? You know, we need to stand up and say, this is what we need. You know,
I think to wrap up my answer to your question, which was a very valid question about why you're running for Senate. Traditionally, at least in the last 25 years or so in Vermont, the role of the legislature has been to decide where the federal money goes.
Right.
So our community money isn't ours to use. It gets sent way up the line and way down the line. And by the time it comes back with all the administrative losses, they tell us how we can use it. And the power inherent in the legislature has been to decide what to do with the federal money within federal guidelines, of course. So what I would like to do is break this system, talk with the people about what we can do and what we must do, rather than decide who gets what federal money, because you know what, it's all drying up. It may not be obvious today because we're still somewhere up just past the top of the peak oil curve, and maybe we're a little bit past now because of that huge Gulf oil spill, but it's happening. Energy is only going to become more expensive the more we can do today to prepare for that, in terms of local planning and state planning.
Right. And that's where we get into, you know, there is an opportunity for Vermont at the town or county or district planning, you know, regional planning commission level to issue some bonds and to do some state, you know, some local funded deployment of renewable energy, of food distribution and processing systems that, you know, so we're not talking billions of dollars here, we're talking every county could invest $500,000 in both of these kind of categories and give themselves a security blanket of either low-cost, long-term energy or productive food distribution and processing systems that would provide an incubation for local farming and a tool that could be open access, open source to the community. The fact that we're instead spending our bond money on other things that we have the possibility. Vermont has AAA bond rating right now. We've got a pretty low debt ratio as a state. Some towns are worse off than others, but we do have this window of opportunity at the state level and at the county or regional level to make these investments if the policy coming out of Montpelier makes that a priority.
Well, as a socialist, I would like to achieve sustainability by using public money to fund enterprise. For instance, the public funds could be used to set up a manufacturing operation of solar panels, if there is none in Vermont.
Right.
So I agree with you there, but I would like to keep it on a state level. I have a platform of about 15 points, which is on my website, and people can look at the website. Do you each have websites for your campaign?
Yep, mine's GaelanBrown.com, GAELAN Brown.com.
And
Mine
Robert?
is senatorwagner.com, all one word.
And mine, I'm using my UVM website, www.uvm.edu/RJEROLOM/Senate. So you can check out my platform there. Well, we're running out of time, so I want to thank you for coming. And it's been very interesting talking to both of you. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you,
Terence.
Gaelan.
Yeah, it's good to talk about these. I think, on one hand, talk is talk, and it's time to walk, but on the other hand, we need to keep talking and get people thinking in unison on these issues and not get distracted by these things we don't quite agree on, and let's just focus on what's really the core, most important things that as a state we have to come together on. And I really, as I'm out there talking to people, I'm talking to a lot of lefty and a lot of righty people, and I'm getting heads to nod from all of them. And I think that that's the whole point of what we're trying to do.
And for the people at home, I hope you'll remember us all in November. Gaelan in Washington County, Robert in Addison County, and I'm running in Chittenden County. And I'll see you again next month for another edition of Vermont Today.